Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 7, and this is my review for the first episode for this season, the premiere, otherwise entitled Inmate 4587, and oh my god, that ending, and we're going to get to that, but just wow. So obviously, if you haven't watched the episode, do not watch this video. Go watch the episode, then come back to this video later on. I do not want to spoil anything. This is a premiere to be watched and beholded? We'll just go with it. For yourself for the first time. If you've watched it, you know what I mean. Holy crap. But if you are continuing on with the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like and show support for the Arrow first episode review, because man, if you watched it, you know how good it was. So just leave a like, show your support for the Arrow premiere review, just man, and also just leave your opinions in the comment section down below. What was your favourite part? What blew your mind? I think I know what blew many people's minds. But yeah, just leave all of your opinions down there in the comments. But of course, end of last season, Oliver basically, I guess you could say, sacrificed himself in order for everyone else to be let free. You know, all charges dropped and all that. There was no consequences. So Oliver is now in Slabside maximum security prison. And yeah, it's a pretty lethal place. I definitely wouldn't want to be there. But of course, we started this season with how every single season starts, and that's with someone running through the woods. So we saw we had the hood up. Obviously, back in season 1, it was the ending of the flashbacks. But in the case of this, it was actually William with a green hood. Nice little little sign of things to come. But him running through the woods with Felicity, and Felicity dying. But of course, as we predicted from the trailers and stuff, this was a nightmare that Oliver's having. And it's actually interesting, isn't just one time that Oliver has this. It seems like this, well, they definitely hint later on that Oliver is having this nightmare every single night. And yeah, not the best nightmare to be having. But the fact that he is having this nightmare every single night, it sort of plays onto how he's going about in his just day-to-day life, where his daily routine is the exact same. Like that asshole of a guard goes, dung dung dung, inmate 4587, good morning. And he basically lives the same day for the most part, works out, eats, gets stared at, has a shower, gets stared at. Weird time to be stared at in the shower, but we'll let it go, I guess. But yeah, he's living that same thing, daily routine. I think I would go nuts, but hey, if you do the crime, you do the time, I guess. But of course, we meet Stanley. I don't think they say his last name. They might, but we've just been knowing him as Stanley, I guess, before the season starts. So we meet Stanley, and we find out he is actually was committed for murdering someone, but he didn't commit the crime. So I wonder if we'll find out more about that as the season goes on. Not too sure, but yeah, that's a new character. That's sort of like Oliver's ally or little friend that he'll have in prison, I guess. Of course, the other people in there that we know of are Brick, Bronze Tiger, and Derek Sampson. Correct me if I'm wrong, there was no one else in there that we knew. Did I miss something? I don't know if I completely just faded off. Let me know in the comments if I did, because sometimes I just miss things that are obvious, but I don't think we did. We're meant to be meeting one more surprise person, but we might not meet them for a while, because Oliver's obviously wasn't just in prison for this episode. He's in there for God knows how long after this. So I don't know if we missed that mystery person. Hopefully we didn't, because I hate when I miss stuff like that. But yeah, if we didn't meet them this episode, then I'm sure we'll meet them eventually. But essentially, Bronze Tiger, Derek Sampson, and Brick were planning something, and due to Bronze Tiger getting taken away, they're short one man, so they sort of want Oliver to help them with something, which could come later on, who knows. But this is when we meet the imposter Green Arrow. Now, this just opens up a lot of different questions, especially because how the episode ends as well. But we meet the imposter Green Arrow. He's going after Jason Stent, I think his name was, something Stent, who's basically like a weapon trader and stuff like that. But this is our first introduction to them, and sort of it's going to spread the mystery throughout Star City for episodes to come about who the hell this new Green Arrow is, because Oliver Queen is locked up in Slabside. But in that conversation between Oliver and Digger, we find out that Diaz has been off the radar for 5 months. I've been looking for him for 5 months with the FBI and Argus and stuff like that. No sign of him. Pretty handy, because he's obviously going to show up later. But obviously that's just the fear that's constantly going through Oliver's head, as we've seen in those nightmares, that Diaz is eventually going to catch up, find Felicity, and the not so great thing is going to happen where Felicity might die. And William as well, I guess. Now we see Felicity in witness protection, which we got from got the vibe from that, from not only said photos, but also just the trailers and the promo pics as well, where she has the pink dyed hair, the nose ring, eyebrow ring I think she had as well. and just overall different aesthetic look. But I think she was going by the name Erin. I think it was Erin, and she's a barista, but still using her computer hacking and just technology abilities and stuff like that, and knowledge and stuff to help some people out, including a bit of an awkward confrontation with the customer who asked her out. But yeah, they're basically just giving some background or some context as to what she's doing with her witness protection stuff, working as barista, and that's about it. In regards to Dinah and Renee, Dinah is the new SCP or Star City Police Department captain, so that's a bit of an upgrade. Some people might have an issue with that, but that's a big rise, but obviously they're just, I know that, the obvious thing that they're doing is they're trying to fill that void that's being left by Quinton Lance dying. So we have like an iron and like a high up iron look into the SCPD. So with Dinah, she's the new captain. It's just easy that way. I don't really have too many complaints about it. You could nitpick and say, oh, that's not the natural progression of that character, but I don't really mind too much. It's not something that's really gonna grind my gears too much, so I'm fine with it. And with Renee, he is doing self-defense classes, like a community sort of thing. And he's those boxing bags aren't looking that great, are they? But essentially, we do see that imposter Green Arrow help out Renee when he's trying to stop one of his community kids from doing something stupid, and so this automatically sort of ties a bond together between Renee and that imposter Green Arrow, which I'm sure we'll see in episodes to come. But they sort of just planted the seed in this episode, and we get a bit of a sprout coming up from that seed later on in the episode. We only got one scene with Laurel Lance in this episode, and just showing that she is the district attorney. I'm sure we'll just get more of that going forward. I don't think it was necessary to have too much of her. I'm happy they had this scene because it was relevant for her to be like, oh, the Green Arrow is not Oliver Queen and stuff like that. But I don't think she needed to be in too much of this episode. It wasn't really needed, but I think the scene that we had with her was good enough, but I'm sure we'll see more of her in episodes to come. In regards to Curtis, he is working at Argus. I think he's head of research and development. I think it's R&D, I think they said, which is research and development, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's what he's doing. I don't know how long he's going to stay in that role. I think in a future episode he's meant to go undercover for Argus, which is easy because he's already with Argus. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with him following this season, but it'll be interesting to see, I guess. But this is when we start. Okay, I'm not going to dive too deep into what happens exactly. I'm just sort of going to plant the seed as we go into this video. But we see this random guy in a boat. Now, at first, I thought it was Anthony Ivo. I thought it was a flashback to way before season 2's flashbacks, because it looked like a young Anthony Ivo from the season 2 flashbacks. He was the guy in the Amazo and stuff like that. I thought that was him, and I was like, because it was all dark and stuff, and I was like, okay, are they going for a flashback of a flashback? But that's not who it is. But he does go to Robert Queen's grave, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? We're on Leanne Yu. This is obviously Leanne Yu, but he's going to Robert Queen. See, so much is happening in this episode. He goes to Robert Queen's grave. I'm like, okay, what the hell is happening here? And then he gets set in a trap, and it's Roy Harper that goes and punches him. But it just looked like normal Roy Harper at first, because you could tell it was Colton Haynes' voice, and you saw the red hood and stuff. So I just thought it was normal current day Roy Harper. But we'll jump into that. I was not right there. So wow, so much stuff happened. But in regards to Stanley, we do see Oliver basically almost be a bad dude in this episode. Stephen Amell did hint that Oliver wasn't really going to be a hero in prison, because that's one of the taglines for this season. There are no heroes in prison, and Oliver just isn't doing that. Especially with Stanley, when he essentially throws him under the bus and just lets Derek Sampson and Brick just sort of beat him to crap. So that was a bad moment for Oliver. Obviously not one of his high points in his career, but that was sort of when we learned what Stanley was in there for, and that he is defenseless. I think in episodes to come we will see Oliver, stick up for Stanley when necessary, or hopefully if Stanley's still there. But we do get Oliver sort of getting some revenge, I guess, for the beating up of Stanley later on in the episode. But as I was saying, that sprout that was going to come up between Renee and the imposter Green Arrow was sort of sprouted, I guess. Or got a hint at it in the weapons trade between the Jason Stent dude and those other people. See the imposter Green Arrow attack, get the cryptocurrency and all that money, but we also see Wild Dog there as well. Not just Renee himself, but Renee as Wild Dog, and he's classic look. Not the suit that he had last season, the one from season 5, so the old hockey shirt, the actual hockey mask and stuff like that. So vintage Wild Dog is back, and let's just say Dinah isn't too happy about it and threatens him and says, yo, if you're out there again, I'm just going to have to arrest you. So there might be some tension between Dinah and Renee going forward. But this was the point in the episode where we reached that big moment from the trailer, which I'm sure everyone was looking forward to, and that was the fight scene in the shower with Oliver, which was brutal. But the best thing is that it was sort of like, well, it was parallel. I was going to say in sync, but it was like parallel to the fight scene between Felicity and Diaz in the apartment, where Diaz had finally tracked down Felicity, and this was probably one of the best fight scenes I think we've had on the show. Not only just because of Oliver's stuff in the shower, but also just because of the parallels between the Felicity stuff as well. Thought it was really well done, and I think the wait was worth it. I think the trailer gave us a little bit of a taste of it, and some other trailers gave us a taste of the Felicity Diaz one, but together I think it was really, really good. But speaking of Felicity and Oliver, I think they had their best scene arguably in the entire show's run in that prison scene, where both of them are just an emotional wreck, both of them are beaten up. I thought that was a great scene between them two. And I don't know, I think we're not really meant to be getting too much Felicity Oliver early on this season, but if that's really all we get in the first couple of episodes, I think they made up for it, because I think it was really, really well done. Now, we do learn that William is actually going to boarding school, which I been saying the whole time since William has been, not really as soon as he was introduced, but as soon as he became like a main player, I was like, okay, they're going to have to take William off the show for a bit, just because he's just going to be popping up randomly and given no proper character development for a character that's actually there. So what you can do with this character as a kid is just ship him off somewhere and he can develop off screen. Like, that's the easiest thing to do with a character like this, and they've done that. So I was hoping that they'll do something like boarding school, like I referenced many times, or even just he goes into protection by himself, one of the two, and he's finally going off to boarding school. But Felicity does give him the Hosen. I'm sort of still confused about the whole Hosen thing, and it's still a mystery, like who had it and stuff like that. Like, it's like a pass the parcel, like who actually had it last, but yeah, she gives him the Hosen, I guess. And then obviously we have that fight scene with Oliver in the prison yard where he just picks up the weight and just smacks that dude over the head multiple times. That was the guy that sort of like threatened him. He's like, oh, I'm not killing you because you need to like learn that your wife is dead and the Diaz found her. And it's like, oh, we got that cool little scene from the trailers, like, oh, you should have killed me and stuff like that, which was awesome. And he sort of gets a little bit of revenge on Brick by just shoving that, I think it was like was it the Count of Monte Cristo, the book, into his throat. That was pretty cool. But holy crap. Okay, you know where we're at. We're at the final scene of this episode. Now, this whole scene throughout this whole, like, how all of this was playing out was extremely confusing. Okay, it looked like a flashback of a flashback at first. As I said, I thought it was like Anthony Ivo or something. It sort of looked like a young Ivo. And then you realize, okay, no, that doesn't look anything like a young Ivo. This is someone else. Goes to Robert Queen's grave. You're like, okay, what the hell is going on here? Gets hung up, like caught in a trap. It's Roy Harper there. Okay, it's this current day. Someone's randomly on the NU. It's actually old Roy Harper with a goatee, like salt and peppering it up with some grey hair. Old man Roy Harper. And then we find out this person pulls out a hose and holy crap, it's old William. It's Oliver Queen's son. What is going on? What is going on? Are we going to be in two different timelines throughout this season where we're getting flash forwards instead of flashbacks? If that's the case, that's great. I think that's actually great. Now, I think one of the biggest concerns is that a lot of people think that they're going to try and make William into the new Green Arrow in the future. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case, because I don't know if the actor that they chose really screams, oh, I'm a new Green Arrow. I don't necessarily think he does that. He could do that. Let's not completely rule it out. But I think the older actor they chose for William doesn't necessarily scream, you know, older, or like a vigilante or superhero or anything like that, like a Oliver Queen does or anything like that. So what they could be doing is maybe diving in to the what happens. I think, okay, I need to have both. I'm holding my little notebook. By the way, my notebook is a Cocoa Pops. If you don't have Cocoa Pops, if you scratch it, smells like Cocoa Pops. Sick notebook. Okay, we'll just chuck that over there. Okay, so essentially we've got the flashbacks, not flashbacks. We have the present day, and then we have the flash forwards. I think what we're going to get is that we're going to get backstory from the flash forwards. It's slowly going to go back, and then we're going to progress through the current story of this season, and they're going to clash in the finale or close to the finale. That's what I'm hoping happens. I don't know. It's going to be hard to see, but then we might see, like in that flash forward, we do get progression going forward as well between that older Roy and this William, this older William as well. Obviously, that's just an early prediction. That might not be what happens, but that'd be really cool if that were to happen. But obviously, we're going to have to see going forward in these episodes what happens. But I don't think anyone was predicting this is what they were going to do with the Roy character. I guess the big question is, will Roy appear in current day? That's maybe a big question. But man, if this is the Roy we're getting the whole season, no one predicted it. Don't come at me saying, oh, I wrote in a comment section once that it was going to be an older Roy. No, you didn't. Get out of here. Leave the door. Lock it on your way out. That never happened. You never said that. I don't think anyone predicted this. This is an awesome move by Arrow, the show. Obviously, at a convention, we did see Colton Haynes had like a goatee sort of thing, and he said he couldn't shave the beard. I'm like, why can't he shave the beard? That's weird. Obviously, we know why, because that older version of Roy has the beard, but wow. Insane. No wonder we didn't see any Roy in any of the trailers. We're all asking that. Where the hell's Roy? We now know why they couldn't show Roy. I love this episode. Favorite premiere so far. I don't think Legends will beat it next week. I think it smashed all the other shows out of the park. You might say, oh, Paige, it's because you're an Arrow fanboy. Partly, but I think it just was better. I just thought it was better quality. I thought it was better overall. And I think it just lived up to the hype that the trailers built up. I said Arrow was my favorite show, like my most hyped show based on the trailers. And this first episode lived up to that hype even more because there was secrets in there that we didn't know. Mainly that stuff at the end. And wow. So really, to sum it up, do I even have to say if I like the episode? I think you can get from this video how I thought about this episode. I'll say it again. I loved it. I loved this episode 1, this season premiere for season 7. Can't wait to see more. Can't wait to see more. And really, if you think about it, they can keep Oliver in prison for all they want. If that flash forward stuff with the older William and an old man Roy, I'm just going to call him Old Man Roy. If they do that with him, then, you know, that can sort of like be the action side of it. And then we still have action stuff on the outside of prison with the imposter Green Arrow and even Wild Dog if he gets back into it and all of that stuff. So, wow. And there's also been a lot of castings for this season. People have been going, oh, maybe they're casting too many people for Arrow. But if you've got to remember, now we have flash forwards. It could be there's people showing up in flash forwards as well. So, this is insane. I wasn't expecting any of this. And, yeah. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and show support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What was your favorite part of the episode? What were your general opinions? Were you expecting that end scene and stuff? Like, some people might have thought, okay, it's an older William and stuff as it built up. But I think that end scene in total, like as a whole, with just Old Man Roy revealing himself and stuff, I don't think anyone was expecting that. But just let me know all of your opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.